Welcome to the Raw Spotlight podcast, where we feature inspiring leaders in the B2B space and share their unique stories. Let's get started with the show.
Hey, welcome to the Raw Spotlight. She's got hustle. This podcast series features fearless women transforming businesses through life, perseverance, growth, and a healthy dose of hustle. I'm your host, Emily Loh, co-founder of Ready Artwork. As a designer, marketer, and entrepreneur, I'm excited to share the inspiring stories of women making a difference. I spotlight women hustlers from B2B businesses, niche markets, brands, local ventures, and public organizations. My guests share their success stories and how they balance passion and purpose. If you're seeking real talk and motivation from women who hustle, you are in the right place. So let's get comfortable, settle in, and get ready to be inspired. Before we start, I have a sponsor message. This episode is brought to you by Ready Artwork, a website-first digital marketing agency dedicated to driving long-term growth for your business. At Ready Artwork, we believe your website is the foundation of your digital presence. That's why we led with our proven 7-step website blueprint, a strategic process designed to deliver high-performing, lead-generating websites. If you want to hear the full breakdown of this process, check out our dedicated episode on the 7-step website blueprint. But for everything else, visit readyoutwork.com to see how we help your organization unlock its full potential. Okay, today I have a special guest. Her name is Amy Loh, a powerhouse entrepreneur, community leader, and proud State Farm agency owner. Originally from Malaysia, she moved to the U.S., Atlanta, at age 11 and has been hustling since then. She kicked off her career with State Farm back in 2006, climbed the leadership ladder across Georgia and California, and even led 37 agents through the challenge of the pandemic. Most recently, she opened a brand new agency in Bellevue, Washington. And beyond her business, Amy is deeply involved in the Asian American community, supporting several advocacy groups and lives by a pay-it-forward mindset. So when she's not working, she loves traveling, hunting down good eats, and also hanging out with her dog named Cooper. So Amy, welcome to the Raw Spotlight.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Thanks for picking me.
Yeah, great to have you. So I know, in the intro, I mentioned, you moved from Malaysia to Atlanta at a very young age. How did that experience shape your identity and your work ethics growing up?
Well, I believe my work ethic is always instilled in me due to how we grew up, family culture wise. I think one of the challenge is the language skills, transitioning from speaking Cantonese at home and learning Mandarin in school, then all of a sudden shock of English because we only took like maybe one class in school at the young age in learning English. But so coming here is just overcoming challenge one way or another. I think that built a lot of character. So since then, I think anything in life, as long as you're adaptive, and you're persistent at it, you'll get through the challenge. So
you're trilingual. You said English, Mandarin, Cantonese?
You want to say that, but to be honest, I can get by. Cantonese more fluent than Mandarin. Right now, my Bellevue agency, I would say 95% is Mandarin speaking. And then there's few percent that is Cantonese, very little English. So it's definitely helped me bringing my language back slowly, but not fluent. I would say practical.
Yeah, but before we started hitting record, I did mention that, you have great communication skills. So you did great. Yeah. But what originally sparked your interest in business and financial services? And how did you, land into this, insurance world?
I would say, in my life, I'm very thankful for all my friends and family, supporter and advocates. I'm lucky in that way that I have the best people in throughout the journey of life. Um, while I was in college, full time working in retail, I met a m- lady named Karen Warren, who was actually a State Farm agent in Douglasville, Georgia. She become my godmom and kind of lead me into State Farm
Mhm.
graduation. It's like, hey, check it out. It's about entrepreneurship. Um, at the time, wasn't ready, so I become the field recruiter for State Farm. It was because they want to get into the Asian American market
Mhm.
to represent them because they always practice diversity. So it was something I believe in. So luckily, that's how I got into State Farm because of my godmom, who's a State Farm agent. And then since then, haven't stopped me and realizes number one insurance carrier in the nation.
Mhm.
And their passion of helping consumer kind of similar to what I look for. It's just, a lot of people contribute to my life. I would like to kind of give back through education or just recommendation, and that fit me very well.
That's cool. So you had a great mentor, your godmom. So was that in 2013? That's when you decided to launching your own agency?
Well, I met her 2003,
Oh,
so
okay.
got into State Farm 2006, and then my own agency in Arcadia, California was in 2013. Yes. Mhm.
Okay, I see. So what was the tipping point that made you say, okay, I'm ready to start my own State Farm agency?
Well, because I was a recruiter from '06 to 13, and I was like, I'm recruiting all these successful, powerful women and powerful entrepreneur, business minded, and I'm like, oh, they are very intelligent. They overcome challenges. They hustle, but they live well in their life too, right? Enjoying the finest things. So I'm like, why? What am I waiting for? Let me try this out. I mean, of course, I'm fearful of failure, so I'm like, well, as long as I'm persistent and overcoming challenge, I can get through this. So in 2013, I got appointed April 1st as an entrepreneur and definitely gone through a lot of challenges.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, that's almost 20 years.
Yeah, yeah, it's
That's
been a
crazy.
while.
That's crazy. Um, so during the pandemic, you led 37 agents during that time. What did that chapter teach you about managing people and leading while it's like super like uncertain in the world at the time?
When you're a leader, your follower want to know that you're there for them, right? That's the biggest things. During pandemic, there was a lot of new regulation, health requirement, employee, how to handle employee. So as a business owner, I already know like, hey, it's hard to find those information when you're like in your little own State Farm world.
Mhm.
Who you can look up to is your leadership, right?
Mhm.
So when I transition and able to have the privilege to lead 30 to 37 agent, first thing I do is to help them find detail of all the changes, like what is the mass requirement for their office, you know,
Mhm.
the kind of like the defense mechanism, things that they can order, where's the fastest and easiest way to get to. So just I have never felt so needed.
Mm.
And at that time, a lot of phone calls was like, "Hey, I need this information, and thank you for sending these other information." So, for that, I feel like I've done my part.
Yeah.
And then throughout the 5 year I was in leadership, there was a lot going on in California.
Mhm.
That's where I lead a team in LA Metro East territory. And what happened was, after the pandemic, we got back on track. It was a huge growth for the company. Everybody back to normal, driving and everything. Then come hit all the wildfire. And with all the wildfire, there's lots of losses, and the insurance industry changed a lot, where they kind of pause for um, writing business or non-renewing and things like that that they hear from the news.
Right.
As well as like inflation, the cost is going up. What the heck is going on? So, helping my team of business owner being able to strategize and focus on their customer and really service them in the right way. It's critical for our company, not only the brand, but to really do what we here to do is help people manage the risk in everyday's life, right? Just kind of like our mission statement kind of fulfills it. So with that, it was a great experience. I think right now California is still going through some of that, because I know beginning of the year we had the largest wildfire ever in history in
Yes.
loss in Palos Verdes, Malibu,
Mm-hmm.
those area. And so it was tough for me to make the decision going back to being a business owner rather than helping my agent team. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that sounds crazy. Yeah. But not earlier this year, but earlier this month, we're in May still, you opened up a new agency in Bellevue, Washington.
mhm.
What inspired you to move and also making a this different chapter in your life?
Yeah. I always enjoy interaction with customer directly. So while I was in leadership, I missed a lot of opportunity in consulting with consumer, because the education in insurance was somewhat lack of in some of the area, because they know only what they know, right?
Mhm.
So with that, why I move is the opportunity. When opportunity come knocking and it's pretty good, you
Yeah.
got to go for it, um, regardless of the fear or other challenge. So I decided when it was offered to me by the company, let's try it and see. It never hurts, and it's getting back to doing what I enjoy.
Mhm.
I miss the leadership part, but all my agents still doing very well with the current leadership. So I'm not too worried, because we have a great company supporting them. But I think the consumer needed more so to have the right agent. So now I'm in Bellevue, Washington, speaking to my California, Georgia folks, and it's been a crazy 29 days so far, because my official door opened May 1st.
Yeah.
So it's just getting to know my customer, and they've been very welcoming. And I want to say, if you are my customer currently in Washington, thank you. And, appreciate you and want to make sure I take care of you. So give my office a call if you have question about your policy. But really is the people that makes the life joyful every day. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. How's the weather out there?
rainy, just like everybody say, Washington have lots of rain. We experienced that, but since we moved here, it's actually the sun been on our side, so I see more sun than any. Hopefully that stay the case. Like, we brought the California weather to Washington. Hopefully,
Yeah, you brought your positive attitude there and brought the sunshine there.
I need the sunshine so I can keep shining.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good. Love the beautiful state, like the the greenery and the scenery is just amazing. The lake and the flowers, the wild animals, and
Mhm.
I'm all about that. So it's been wonderful.
Amazing. Okay, so I have a lot of B2B listeners, right? So for our B2B listeners, what type of commercial insurance policies do you recommend, especially to a small to mid-sized business, whether they're starting out or they actually have an existing business already?
Yeah. So regardless how small you are, you can be a business owner working at home. Okay. Depending on your business type, in any type of business, there is a carrier that offer protection for financial protection.
Mhm.
the very first coverage that most business owner concerned about is liability, be sued for any product or services or anything you provide, right? They assume you are financially well off, or else you wouldn't start a business. They may or may not be true, but
Right.
that's the first thing people think of. So when you're looking for insurance, a liability usually for business owners automatically 1 million per accident, and then 2 million per aggregate, meaning within a year, if you have multiple claims, you can file for that, right? So liability is first, but there's a lot more protection within the policy, like your equipment, no matter if it's computer or anything that you utilize for business, your advertising, your marketing, that can be a liability, right? Because if you false advertising, they can go after you. Infringement, your copyright, those are also some of the things. But also being a business owner, if you have employees,
Yeah.
you kind of have the risk of employees suing you. So EPLI is an acronym as called Employer Practice Liability Insurance. What it does is it protect employer from any, employee lawsuit, from like harassment to hostile work environment, etc. Aside from that, I would say, you have to find protection through, like, if you have partnership, for instance, buy-sell agreement. Let's say you and I are partner, but our spouse is out of the business. Something happened to me. You don't want to work with my partner. You don't know what their experience is.
Right.
But I didn't agree with that. I agree with Amy mentality or culture or whatever. I want to buy you out, right?
Yeah.
How would you do that? So there is what we call the buy-sell agreement, where it's set up where if one of the partner depart, you can use the life insurance death benefit to buy out the other party. That way you own the business in whole, but you're not out of pocket financially. So, and you can expense those through a business. So it depends on how it's set up. Usually when we recommend something in our insurance, we say consult your accountant and consult your business lawyer, depend on how your contract and what all you have come into agreement to make sure you're protected. So
I see. So as like a co-founder or a partner, I can do a buy-sell agreement, buy a policy, expense it through the business, and just have it, as a peace of mind in the background. So I don't have to deal with my business partner's spouse.
Possibly. There's some taxation within the policy when you set it up. That's why we always say consult with your accountant. Aside from business partner, you may also think about like a key employee. So let's say you are a key employee of my business, and something happened, and I'm at a loss of a great skill, hard to recruit employee. There is a policy where it pays out to the company. You can use the financial to really high pay someone rather than pinching your penny, because they are highly skilled and they already employ. You don't know, right?
I see.
So there's key employee policy as well. For some business, we have what we call the executive bonus too, where you incentivize your like board member or executive in the kind of like a financial, but using a policy to do that, not only to protect their family from financial ruin, but also cash accumulation. So there's a lot of detail, but the basic is business liability insurance. Then you got employer, practice liability insurance from the employee. Then you utilize insurance to incentivize your own business, how to properly protect the financial ruin if someone's skill or important is out of the business.
Okay. So if you were buying a policy on like a key employee or an executive, I assume they need to also know about it and be okay with it, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. No.
Okay.
Thing is, in our business is very upfront, very transparent. So you can't just go, "Hey, I bought a policy on you," but you don't know about it.
I see.
Our benefit, no, there's no such thing. Everything is about insurability. We ask the reason why.
Mhm.
So our business is very clear, very black and white. So it just makes sure it's beneficial for all parties.
Okay. Are there like are there businesses that you encounter that they um typically overlook in terms of like any insurance coverages?
Oh yes, yes. They don't think they need it because maybe they're one man operation, right?
Mhm.
They're a photographer. They're like, oh, if I lose my camera, I'll just replace it. Or if, but they don't think about the liability. You're now at somebody's event. You're now providing product that you produce that maybe they not so happy about, right? So usually we ask in detail what they do, how much their gross is, because their gross sale can impact their insurance as well. So, and then in California, it's required to get workers' comp.
Yeah.
In other state, it's not necessary. Maybe it's through like payroll and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, Washington's similar like that. So every state is regulated by their insurance commissioner. Uh,
Mhm.
So every state have its own regulation. So if you purchase insurance in one state, it may not be exact same. It might be slightly different in another state.
Okay, so you are in Washington, but you do help businesses or homeowners, let's just say,
Mhm.
for personal in California or other state as well, right?
Correct, correct.
Okay.
I am licensed in Washington. I'm in the transition of getting my resident license in Washington because I was resident licensed in California.
Mhm.
So what we call property and casualty. So any auto, home, businesses, and then life health. So any life insurance, any health supplemental,
Mhm.
their Medicare or disability, emergency type of health insurance, we supply that. So
Okay.
yeah.
Good to know. What advice would you give companies that are trying to like balance like affordability as well as like adequate coverage?
I would say it's more on adequate coverage first as a priority. I know people want to save. It's not easy to make every cent and dollar. I'm a business owner myself. Expenses high, especially with inflation and all that uncertainty going on right now. But you buy it in the first place is to protect you in the first place, right? So inadequate, then why bother in a certain way, right? Unless you can personally pay for the other half of it or other portion of it, right?
Mhm.
So, good news to business owner is that hello is expensible, so you can write it off as part of your business expense. So,
Right.
don't be afraid. Make sure you get adequate coverage. Um, I would say get different opinion from carrier. Make sure they understand their policy well. Don't just buy just to buy because a lot of carrier or I would say insurance agent doesn't explain coverages properly,
Mhm.
and that leave customer hanging when there is an actual claim, and you kind of wasted all the premium in the past that you paid for. So making sure adequate coverage, the right person to talk to,
Mhm.
and just know you can business expenses. So don't worry too much about financial unless it's so necessary. But the agent should be able to help and kind of advise you on what is proper coverage. Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think a lot of times people don't realize that it's a business expense.
correct.
Yeah, thanks for reminding us on that. Have you worked with any like business client where like insurance played a key role in helping them recover from like a tough situation?
Yeah, yeah. So it depends on how you look at as a business, like even an apartment owner
Hmm.
as a business because
Right.
generating rental income. So picture in California, apartment burned down. you not only loss of income, but there may be some liability, and your building have to be rebuilt before you can get any income again. So let's say you still owe on the loan to purchase the property as an investment. Business is about investment, right? Are you losing the investment? So insurance is critical to those kind of business owner. And many times, like I have even our own State Farm agent, right? They have a vehicle run through their office, and glass broken, operation have to pause,
Ouch.
yeah, and furniture damage. Those business policy will replace all those windows, furniture, business property, as well as loss of income. So loss of income is also a key component in your business policy, right? So that's important. Workers comp, when workers get hurt, do your business want to pay out of pocket, right? But if you have insurance paid for that, you have nothing to worry about. So all those are instances where it's critical for them. It's basic day-to-day losses, not something out of extraordinary, right? It's a matter of is your business lucky or unlucky to get those claims. Hopefully, you don't never have to deal with it, then you're just
Right.
having a peace of mind.
Right, exactly. The peace of mind and then knowing that you're mitigating your risk. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, let's touch on the community and advocacy a little bit. You are incredibly involved in organizations. Uh, what motivates you to stay so engaged with, in your community work? And then maybe you can list out some of the organizations that you are involved and engaged in.
Well, I just recently transitioned, so I'm still establishing to see what organization to get involved with in Washington. So hopefully, not only local, but kind of throughout the state chapter as well. But I started way back when I was a recruiter for State Farm. I got exposure to NAP, as National Association of Asian American Professional in Atlanta chapter. Since then, it kind of expanded to like Filipino Chamber of Commerce, all that. And I found lots of good friends through networking. I did it for work to begin with, but then a lot of my handful of the closest friends come from there. So if I never have gotten involved in the community, I actually wouldn't have as lucky to have those friendships that I have. So coming to California, I kind of did the same thing because I know only one person in California at the time I moved. So I was like, okay, I need to make some friends. Where do I go find it so that it's not kind of weird, when you're a female, you don't want to randomly go up to somebody. So yeah, networking is the perfect way. I have an excuse. I'm here to network. So I'm like, hey, how are you? My name is this. This is what I do. Let's grab some coffee and tea and talk more. And I got lucky, and I love all my friends who I actually met through networking, and we have a story to tell. Yeah, I remember that time. You didn't like me too much, that you like me to death now.
Yeah, but you have a great personality for it. Yeah. People try to balance, or have work-life balance, but I think you have great work-life integration, and I can sense it in your passion right now.
Thank you. Thank you. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy
Yeah. Okay, so from agent to sales to leader, sales leader to agency owner, what leadership traits have helped you thrive at every single level?
it. Well, like you say, key is communication, being able to provide the message you want exactly the way you want, that the receiver have the same messages, right? You ask for understanding, so that's all part of communication. I would say other is just be authentic. I think you have to be yourself. Sometimes myself is too aggressive and too loud, but I'm like, hey, is me much more to love. So I would say just be authentic to yourself, and um, I think most important is also like, be a happy person, be a positive person, be smiley, because
I
that,
can see that.
yeah, that's your welcomeness, right?
Mhm.
Because if you're very like straight face and people get intimidated, I know I do. I'm like, ooh, he's serious, or she's powerful.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can I have a conversation with her? So I would say being personable is
Mhm.
a key.
Yeah, I like that. So, yeah, authentic, personable, welcoming. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so what's the one piece of advice you would give women navigating corporate space or even launching their own business?
I would say be confident in yourself. I think no matter you know how to do it or not, fake it till you make it. Like if you're confident, they think, oh, she got the answer. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
let me find the answer in the meantime. Um, Definitely be confident in yourself. You got this. You if you don't get this, just know you have resource to get it.
Mhm.
And just reach out. I think everyone is so passionate about helping one another
Mhm.
that I think you as long as you can ask, you'll get there.
Yeah, reach out to your network. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then we have like so much AI
Oh yeah.
assistance now. So, yeah, absolutely. One final question for you.
Okay.
What and I ask this to all of my guests. What is your favorite tool or software that you find essential to your day-to-day work?
Um, well, because I'm with State Farm, I would just say State Farm System. It's called. I think all business have it. Is your customer management system. What
Like
we
a
call
CRM.
CRM,
Mhm.
correct.
Yeah.
So most people use Salesforce.
Mhm.
State Farm also utilizes the same company, but it's tailored to State Farm. So I think that's important to manage your business
Mhm.
properly, to not lose sight of prospect, customer, and retention. And not only you need acquisition, but you also need retention as well. So I think that's the most critical tool.
Okay. Well, great. Awesome. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for sharing your inspiring story and journey with us. Your dedication to leadership, community engagement, and personal growth exemplifies the essence of hustle, right, and heart. You're a hustler in my book, so. Um, so for our listeners, if you're in Bellevue, Washington, or just anywhere, and are seeking comprehensive insurance or financial services, consider reaching out to Amy, Amy Loh Insurance and Financial Services, Inc. But for listeners who want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Well, I will say I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn pretty often. I would say my website is Loh insurance, all spell out.com. So feel free to visit my website, but you can connect me anywhere because I love connection. We do consultation, so feel free to touch base. Even if you have questions, we would love to guide you. And I have a great team that's with me to be able to help you. So,
Okay, great. Thanks again, Amy. And thank you for tuning in to the Raw Spotlight. She's got hustle. Until next time, keep striving, keep hustling, and keep making a difference. Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Raw Spotlight podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.